Evolution of Pleakley. Wendy Pleakley, or most commonly just Pleakley, makes his first appearance in the 2002 animated movie Lilo and Stitch, as a secondary protagonist, voiced by Kevin McDonald. He is a one-eyed, thin alien with pale green skin, 3 stout legs, a wide mouth with 2 purple tongues, and an egg-shaped head topped with a single small antenna that acts as an ear and nose from the planet of Plorganar, who is also very diligent and conflict-averse, kind and gentle, as well as sensitive and highly emotional. In the movie, he is initially shown to be working as an agent for the United Galactic Federation and a self-proclaimed expert on Earth, which turns out to be quite an exaggeration, despite his very honest fascination and interest in various Earth things. After he's sent on a mission by the Grand Councilwoman to capture the fugitive Experiment 626, later known as Stitch, who landed on the planet Earth. For his mission, he was paired with 626's creator, Dr. Jumba Jookiba, whom he initially didn't like very much but who later became his best friend. Upon his arrival on Earth, he desperately attempted to catch constantly evading Stitch while trying to work inconspicuously through disguising and acting like people, to not draw any attention from people or scare them, since he cares about them very much, in contrast to Jumba, whom he has to always prevent from destroying everything, which unfortunately still didn't end up working at the end, causing them both to get fired and replaced by the Grand Councilwoman. Despite all these challenges, he did manage to capture Stitch at the end, but in the process of them saving Stitch's human friend, Lilo, they all got to know each other closer and eventually became friends, as well as a part of Lilo's Ohana, which allowed him and others to stay on Earth and live together, with the permission of the Grand Councilwoman. Next, in the 2003 animated movie, Stitch the Movie, Pleakley reappears, now trying to assimilate into the human society and get used to living together with everyone as a family by doing various human things, such as wearing clothes, mainly the women's ones, and also trying to do different chores, which often end up disastrously. Despite him commonly embracing being identified in woman's terms and also his recurrent feminine gender expression, he's not officially identified as trans, which remains to be elaborated upon in the future. In the story, he finds out that a new villain, Dr. Hamsterville, and his partner, Gantu, kidnapped Jumba and demanded a ransom of all of his experiments. Despite his efforts to give Hamsterville what he wants, Lilo and Stitch ended up releasing all the experiments and freeing Jumba themselves. After which the Grand Councilwoman arrested Hamsterville and agreed to not destroy the planet on the condition that Pleakley and others would help to teach and civilize the experiments to find their suitable place on Earth. Also, in the post-credits, Pleakley is shown hoping to go back home with the Grand Councilwoman, but then gets disappointed after she leaves without them. In the animated TV show, Lilo and Stitch the series, set after the events of the previous movie, Pleakley appears in virtually every episode and plays a very prominent role, on par with Lilo and Stitch. In the show, he mainly periodically assists Lilo and Stitch in capturing the experiments and also often helps Nani out in maintaining the household, while continuing to explore and learn various Earth and human things, which he is excited about, but still often makes mistakes. As shown in the episode 627, when he prepares a Thanksgiving dinner the second time a month later, thinking that the holiday is celebrated once a month. Also, his family dynamic is revealed in the episode Fibber, when he's initially seen constantly called and reminded by his mother to get married, which he refuses to do and is annoyed by. But after she says that she already found someone for him, he decides to lie to finally make her stop by saying that he already found his fiancée. Unfortunately, his lie backfired and his entire family, mother, brother, and sister, came to visit him for his wedding. After this, he was initially nervous and tried to please his family by dressing in his military clothes and pretending to really have a marriage with Nani and then even Jumba, but eventually finally admitted that he does not want to be married at all and is happy to be single, after which his family becomes more understanding of him and loves him for who he is. In the 2005 sequel movie Lilo and Stitch 2, Stitch has a glitch. Set between the first movie and Stitch the Movie, Pleakley reappears, already having adapted to living on Earth quite well, happily residing together with his earthly family. However, after Stitch begins to glitch, he and Jumba discover that he's not only malfunctioning but is actually also dying from the lack of sufficient charging during his creation, then attempt to create a recharging pod to save Stitch. Also, aside from helping Jumba, Pleakley tries to help David, who believes Nani is losing interest in him, by giving him dating and romance advice, even fully disguising as a woman to provoke her jealousy, which she immediately sees through and doesn't take seriously. At the end, as Stitch progresses in his glitching, they do manage to finish the pod and then try to recharge him as he falls unconscious, failing to achieve success due to them being too late. However, After Lilo unintentionally brings him back to life, everyone gets rejoiced, with Pleakley proposing to do a group hug and then dancing together with everyone. Pleakley cameos next in the 2008 animated short, The Origin of Stitch, in a family photo alongside Stitch and others. Next, Pleakley appears in the 2006 animated movie, Leroy and Stitch, having successfully completed the mission of finding a place for all 624 experiments on Earth, alongside others, being awarded a position at Galactic Alliance Community College as head of Earth Studies, with his family in attendance. As he prepares to leave, he's initially quite happy and also says goodbye to all the chores in the house, with Lilo gifting him a rock as a reminder about them and the Earth. At his job, he gets an assistant, a new wardrobe, and the keys to the college's carpool van, but then finds out that he's only a supervising professor and gets dissatisfied with not being able to spread his knowledge of Earth and starts to miss Jumba and the rest of Lilo's family. Soon after, as he decided to visit Jumba, they discovered that Hamsterville returned with his new creation, Leroy, which is an enhanced clone of Stitch and intended to take over the Galactic Alliance. Upon realizing this information, they ventured to Earth and contacted Stitch for the final battle with Leroy and Hamsterville, in which they fought against them, culminating in them starting a concert with music that inactivates Leroy's, with Pleakley operating the lights. In the end, Pleakley quits his job at GSCC and returns to Earth to be part of Lilo's Ohana, once again, joining them all in the family photo. In the show, set several years after the events of Leroy and Stitch, Pleakley first appears, being stranded on an asteroid after he had left Earth for a research trip, where he was then discovered by Jumba when his ship crashed during his hunt for Stitch, and the two returned to Earth together, reunited with Stitch, and also met his new friend, Yuna. In the course of the series, he, together with Jumba, goes through various adventures and also helps Stitch to earn good deeds to gain his ultimate power. Additionally, he also stars in his own spin-off short-ending segments known as Kung Fu Dragon Pleakley, where he faces off against other aliens, usually one of Jumba's experiments, in a martial arts-style match with Jumba officiating but usually is defeated by the abilities of his opponent. In the 2008 Japanese animated crossover music short, Stitch Meets High School Musical, which is a parody of the movie High School Musical, Pleakley initially watches a friendly game of basketball between Stitch and other experiments as well as Gantu. But when the basketball gets stuck in the overhead scoreboard, they start dancing together to shake the floor and get it down. Then, Pleakley appears in the Chinese animated spin-off TV show, Stitch and AI, in a main role, voiced by Lucian Dodge. In the show, he was initially sent by the Grand Councilwoman to retrieve Stitch alongside Jumba, but Stitch's new friends, AI and Gigi, convinced the two to let Stitch stay with them, letting them stay as well to keep a watch on Stitch and to help out him and his new family. In the 2023 animated short Once Upon a Studio, Pleakley cameos in the group photo alongside Lilo, Stitch, Nani and David, with the rest of the Disney characters. Pleakley reappears in the animated TV show Chibi Tiny Tales, in a compilation episode Every Lilo and Stitch Chibi Tiny Tale, in his original role in the retelling of the original story of the very first movie in the cute chibi form. In the 2025 movie Lilo and Stitch, which is a live CGI remake of the original story, Pleakley appears, looking more realistic, replaying his original role, but now disguising himself as a human using alien technology instead of just dressing up in human clothes. And also, he doesn't appear to wear women's clothes, being voiced by Billy Magnuson.